Well, the vision of RS is to reveal the strengths of our community. And Mr. Freeman's story really encapsulates that.
My story? Well, it begins in Harlem, when segregation was alive and well. I shined shoes in a jazz club called Slugs when I was 8 years old. They called me Little Man. I shined the shoes for Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and others. I started using when I was 16, and while the battle for desegregation raged in America, and Kansas City real estate companies fought for racially restrictive neighborhood associations, I did 5 years in Sing Sing prison for assault. I stopped using when I got out of prison. Years went by, and then I moved to Kansas City. America was changing. Segregation had ended, but prejudice and division had not. There was the Vietnam War, the Cold War, and the war on drugs. There was research, discovery, and civil discourse. In 1997, the Department of Mental Health of New York City called me to tell me that my mother was mentally and physically incapable of taking care of herself. So I brought her to Kansas City. And one night we were watching MacGyver, and it was December of 1997. She put her head on my shoulder, and I didn't think twice about it. She had gone home to the Lord. I couldn't feel anything. I was numb, but I felt pain. And for almost a year, I would sit in a chair and I would rock backwards and forth, rock backwards and forth. She was a lot, man. She was a lot to me. She was just, I miss her even today. The pain was so intense that I went out and I bought $300 worth of crack cocaine, a couple bottles of Hennessy. I lost the house, the car, the job, the belongings in the house. I wound up sleeping in abandoned buildings for a couple of years with rats the size of my shoes. On October 5th, 1999, I was sleeping on the bus stop at 18th and Grand in front of UMB Bank. I pulled the cardboard over me and I said, God, I need help. And he sent a dope dealer to tell me where a detox was. My life began to change. A light bulb came on. And I realized I could help other addicts. So I got my associates in addiction counseling, then I got my bachelor's with a double major in clinical psychology and sociology, and in 2014, a master's in social work at UMKC. But everybody wanted that L in front of that MSW. And I had gotten behind in my rent, my gas, I didn't have any food, and I reached out for help.
Mr. Freeman is a man with natural talent, an incredible history, but the world and its systems weren't allowing him to operate in his giftings, and RS revealed the strength.
So Sandy Diatley, that I graduated with, answered the phone, said, let you speak with Father Turbo. He made an appointment for me and said, come on down and bring your resume with you. In December of 2015, Father Justin offered me a permanent position at Reconciliation Services. Words cannot express what I felt at that moment. Reconciliation Services allowed me to interact and use my training, not only from my MSW, but from my experience of living the life that most of our clients live. Every time I see a client that is homeless, I see myself.
Mr. Freeman is now giving back, and so that cycle of revealing the strengths, venerating the person, and that person offering veneration now to others, mission accomplished.
Reconciliation Services allows me to reach back and grab the hand that actually is my own but belongs to someone else.
This year we're launching the RS Café, and Terry is the great example of why the cafe is needed and what the cafe will do. The cafe will allow someone of Terry's caliber to not feel intimidated, to not feel the shame that is so often associated with reaching out for help, right? It'll offer that in a dignified context.